Greetings, everyone. I have set 20 minutes for this message, and I'm hoping I can deliver it within the 20 minutes, but I might have to adjust that. I'm not going to be in any hurry to deliver this message to you because it's very important for you to understand the message within the message. Okay, so I am led to talk to you about the Leviathan Spirit. Those of you who are Christians, you would have heard about Leviathan in Psalms and other scriptures in the Bible. And so I'm not just looking at that religious aspect of it, I'm looking at the material and political aspect of this Leviathan Spirit. So I'm going to examine the works of Thomas Hobbes to explain the paradigm shift that we are currently going through, and also encourage you to look at the works of Galileo and Machiavelli in your own time. In examining, however, the political theory of Thomas Hobbes, I'm hoping to shed light on our current situation and also to take you into that spiritual pathway that leads us to breaking strongholds. There are a lot of strongholds in our lives, in our individual and collective lives. So keep that in mind. Now, we're going to examine the work of Thomas Hobbes, who was a political philosopher born in 1588 or thereabout. He held these materialist, nominalist, empiricist views. He was an English philosopher and a scientist. Let that sink in at the moment. He developed some of the fundamentals of European thought, and it is his theory that ushered in the new political thought of this time. Thomas Hobbes appeared in the 17th century philosophy. He believed that there could be no peace without authority. He felt that in order for society to run smoothly, the citizens had to submit their will to the sovereign power and sovereignty by institution. He pushed the idea that if people are forced into a contract, whether it be fear tactics employed or legitimized or enforced, the sovereign can do anything they want. But at the same time, he would tell them, you must expect subjects to go against it for the sake of self-preservation. So even though he's explaining to these governments at the time that, when you're coming up with these ideas, oftentimes you're going to legitimize them, you're going to enforce them, but please expect people to push against it. However, he says, in the case, the sovereign must decide who is a threat in society and who they can justify putting into delete mode. He said that to resist the sovereign is tantamount to committing injustice. So if you are one person and you resist the sovereign, you are committing injustice. But if persons deny the law, and these persons are in a group to stand against injustice, this cannot be seen as injustice. The people are missing this critical point even this day, and so they relinquish their rights and their freedoms at this time. When one person stands up, that person is seen as committing injustice, but when a whole collective get up, then it can no longer be seen that. Even at that time when he was pushing the idea, it is clear that his philosophy reconciled religion with modern science. He subordinated power of the church to the state. He said the state had the power over the church, and the state must then become the mortal God and the sovereign command to demand our obedience. So let's break this down a little further. He believed that man is born into a natural state outside of human society, and that they remain in that state. If they remain in that state, there will be constant war and competition. So before there was government, before there were royalty and all that stuff, people are born in a natural state. He said that without societal law, however, no limit to personal safety, but also there should be no right or wrong. So if you don't have laws in society, you won't have a limit to your safety, and you won't be able to, ascertain what is right or wrong. He explains that the state of the natural man, if we remain in that state, we then must know that we are not going to benefit from certain things, right? To remain in that state, there will be a constant state of war and competition. This is what he believes. So there is a benefit in us signing a contract, creating an artificial contract. He states, and I am quoting, as natural as man's warring nature is, it is also natural for human beings to desire peace. People, being rational, will then agree to give up their natural freedom by agreeing to a contract that is mutually agreed upon by members of society. He claimed that was the only way we could have a meaningful life. He furthered this argument by stating ecclesiastical authority of the church must acquiesce to the authority of the state. So in other words, the state is more powerful than God. And I quote, as a person cannot serve two masters, the sovereign of the commonwealth is the only authority which subjects citizens to be absolutely obedient. So it is the state who has more power to force people to be more obedient than even the church. Let's examine the science now of the Leviathan. Leviathan, the behemoth in the Bible, focuses on Levitical law. This is where God tells the Israelites and their priests how to make offerings in the tabernacle and how to conduct themselves around the holy tent or sanctuary. We're talking about rituals, moral practices, and beliefs. Now, when you look at the word Leviathan, we're going to separate it and we look at Levitical laws, and these are binding, Leviathan means joined together with the law that governs. So things like casting spell is written in law. The only way to conquer Leviathan is to know the law. Religious programming now prevents you and I from breaking free. It was a spell that was cast for hundreds of years. And now that there is a paradigm shift, you are still bound. You are bound and blinded by the same spell. So that's why you wonder, why is it that there's a time when, you hear that this is a sin? And now if you speak against it as someone who's a Christian, no, you will get in big trouble because that binding spell is now released. But you're still held in that mind captive. Now that spell has bounded you to thinking that thing is wrong, and now all of a sudden they're demonstrating something else, you're still stuck there. Okay? Now, there are three aspects of laws that was used to control all events. Again, religious spells and the idea that you're born in sin that got planted in your mind, and now it controls you. Then two, money, which is, when you look at business, you need a license. The idea that you cannot conduct affairs without control or permission is written within that law. Then you got the sex law. If you look at religious circles, one of the biggest sin in the Bible or in the church is that, sex, sex seems to be the most devious act. Even so, more than murder, they preach against sexual immorality than they speak against murder. And so you're trapped in these energies of guilt and fear. And you have to understand the law to see the manipulation and then know how to break free from it. There are master magicians living among us who have created a reality based on these laws. Prison is a mental construct. So to break free, you must understand the 7 universal laws: mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, gender. The universe operates in perfect harmony when all of these things are brought into balance. The Leviathan Spirit is set free through the laws of the earth and travels through the world as a serpent spirit. It is awakened through lust for money, and sexual energy is then released, seeking to bring order out of chaos. Whenever you don't express, or whatever you don't express, it's suppressed. And so the mastery over this Leviathan requires you to undo the spell. You must know these entities, and then you will be set free. Only 10% of our brain is being used, and we're not taught how to release the other 90%. And so you have to get to the place where you are so disciplined in order for you to break free and to release this other 90% to where it becomes a kryptonite to conquer any beast, then that's the only way you're going to be free. And that's not very easy. It requires a kind of discipline that only a few people can achieve. The spirit of Leviathan blocks people from success. It represents a spell or X that is put on humanity by a group of occult practitioners or powerful. They use the occult to cast spells to govern the weak. The universe responds to all commands. So as the computer takes instruction, so does the universe. A lot of times we are saying, why does the wicked prosper? Why are they're still governed by the 7 principles of the universe. And so their will can supersede your will if you don't understand what your power is and how to then manifest what you desire and how to come up against these laws that would seek to destroy you. The universe doesn't ask any questions. So the wicked will continue to manifest their intention, and you must do likewise. To counterbalance their efforts and their work, you have to know yourself. You have to be centered in who you consider to be God. You have to know yourself in this time. This Leviathan spirit is real. And the ones who understood it back then, including Thomas Hobbes, who then went to powerful people and say, this is how you run society. This is how you control people. These philosophers of the past were so important in, inspiring or influencing political thought at that time. As I said, Machiavelli, Galileo, Socrates, Marx, all of these philosophers are influential in ushering a different era. So right now, the era that we are going through, excuse my accent, is that of Thomas Hobbes. Now, where the religion thing is on the back burner, and now science is taking forefront. And, things are going to happen, through this new paradigm shift. Lust, greed, envy is becoming a part of us. And it's this unseen force that is able to rule over you and I if we don't recognize the power that we carry within. There are agents of Leviathan Spirit, and they are at work today. They are manifesting themselves in the Jezebel spirit. Now, when you're looking in the world and you look at how women are behaving and young girls are behaving, there's a Jezebel spirit that is rising up in these people. They promote these ones on social media. When you have that Jezebel spirit, you are sure to have millions of followers because that's the spirit that's being promoted. Remember, hear me. The big woman in her 60s and in her 50s who is, stripping herself naked and is doing sexual poses and carrying on, that woman is possessed. And the people likewise who follow her are possessed. You got people on the internet talking about sexual activities that they're, enjoying. And it's so graphic that you're thinking, how could you, in your right mind as a mother, talk about your sexual, acts that way? Why do I need to know what position you're in and how much pain you are in and which part of your kazuna is broken because of this act? It is a devil spirit, and it's going to continue to be promoted because the more you're able to draw in with that energy, now you are making them weaker. You're breaking their mind. You're making them into zombies. They are at work. The Jezebel spirit, the Leviathan, and the religious spirit, they are ferocious. They are demonic strongholds, people. These demonic strongholds that we're having a difficult time, facing and conquering. In Ephesians 6, it says, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. So the spirit of Leviathan fights against the will of the Creator. Examine 1 Peter verses 12. Now you ask, why am I giving the scripture? You got to read the scripture, people, because it is coded. The truth is hidden within the truth. There's a lot of stuff that camouflage because only 10% of our brain we use. We're not making that connection. I'm going to tell you here today boldly that the spirit of the divine is now coming to me through the same word. And I've never rejected the Bible. I've understood for a long time what is truth and what is hidden within the truth. And so the spirit, the guides are now bringing me through the word. Every word that I get is now showing me what is happening in our time and manifesting the stories or the message through some of these things that I'm now quoting to you. The spirit of Leviathan brings separation, strife, worldliness to distract you, to isolate you, and then to destroy you. Did you hear me? I'm going to repeat that. The spirit of the Leviathan brings separation, strife, worldliness to distract you, to isolate you, and to destroy you. The political structure or thought of that time with Thomas Hobbes is now here, it's ushered in. And now you see where the church doesn't have as much significance as it once was having, because it has served its purpose. And now we're moving away from religion. We are moving into science. And I am never at any point going to say science is not a good thing, because at the end of the day, you know, science is what runs this earth. It is science that generates money and fame and wealth and wickedness too. Don't forget that. Science is now, you know, the gateway. Excuse that pun. I'm so grateful for that. It's now the gateway to hell and destruction, and the way it was supposed to be used, the way it can be used for the greater good of the people. I think it's staying on the back burner. People, it took me really 3 days to be able to put this all together for you. And, you know, if you appreciate it, say you appreciate it. If you understand it, say you understand it. You know, because I'm not just doing this because I just like talking and just want my voice to be heard. I'm doing this because if you don't start to make sense of what is happening in our world and that what is happening in our time, you shall fall prey to the darkness and the dark forces that run amok. But I'm telling you that all of us are powerful. We got this powerful spirit within us that is waiting for us to activate it. The universe is waiting for us to come and ask or invite it to come into our life. This is a time when we are separated, we are isolated, and we cannot rely on someone else to build our spirit. We have to now ask the conquering lion on the tribe of Judah, or from the tribe of Judah, to now awaken our spirit, because otherwise you shall perish. You shall walk into perdition. You shall be conquered. You shall be ruled, and you shall become like a robot. It's time to open your spiritual eyes and to invite the presence of the Most High. And when we say Most High, we must know that we didn't make ourselves, and that there's not a big bang theory that some stone erupted and out comes human being with all our faculties and, you know, all the wonderful things that make us human and all these beautiful animals and these plants. They didn't just, you know, boom, bam theory. No. Something greater than you and I, our things, our energies, our forces of energy, and are out there that is working together to make us who we are and to separate us, separate the sheep from the goat. Listen to the message. Know that it's not from me. It is from a higher source. Hear me, people. Be blessed by the message. I'm hoping you're going to be blessed by this. But I want you to open your eyes and ask for truth to be revealed. And if this is a confirmation for some of you, you don't have to tell me. Just say it to yourself. this is a confirmation for me. And if you feel like sharing that, so let it be. In the meantime, in between time, stay blessed, everybody. Stay grounded. Stay in love. Seek truth and conquer. Stay blessed. I don't want to say stay woke. Just open your eyes and examine what is happening. And if anything that I've said in this video resonate with you or you agree with it, just give thanks to the ones who sent me. Stay blessed.